First episode of the OrangeLando Show.
First episode of the OrangeLando Show.
At Castledore Studios.
Yes, at Castledore Studios.
We are sitting in Winter Park, Florida. It's part of the greater Orlando area.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm with Cabral, who is one of the business owners of Castledores, and also independent musician, band leader, entrepreneur. What else do you do?
Yeah, that's pretty much all the titles.
That's the big ones, right?
That's the big ones. Got them.
This the focus of the podcast is really this is a trial episode, so we're gonna kind of figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
But the main idea is to kind of give a platform for people of Orlando to express themselves and talk about whatever, business owners like yourself, artists like yourself, really anybody. I think I just want to try to get people in here and have conversations and see really what Orlando's about. I've left and come back to Orlando a few times, and you're not originally from here.
No, I'm not.
But what happened? I'm a little responsible, I think.
Okay.
For while you're here. Right? Yes. Talk about that.
So we met in the military, Air Force, back in 2009.
Right, we were stationed in Italy together.
Have a good old time up in Italy. Became good friends. You got out 2 years before me. I still had a 2-year contract to finish out. Mm-hmm. And so you came back here to Orlando to pursue your dreams in the entertainment and writing and whatever you fancied at the time.
Using my GI Bill.
Yeah, using that GI Bill.
Spending tax money on whatever I felt like. Yeah.
So I was like, I want to get out too and do something that would get me a job. Mm-hmm. And not make me poor on the street.
Yeah, well, I mean, you had a pretty clear idea of what you like to do. Yeah. You're the one that introduced me to music when we were in the military,
right?
And you were ready to get out, and you were looking around schools. Mm-hmm. You were thinking, I got this education, this free education ahead of me, and you came to Orlando to come check out Full Sail.
I actually was really considering Columbia College, not Columbia University, but Columbia College up in Chicago is another private school for musicians. But then you convinced me to come down and check out Florida, and this is where I ended up.
The weather's better.
The weather's definitely better.
Yeah. Right now, if you were in Chicago,
I wouldn't be happy.
It's what's today's date? It's February, early February, so I can only imagine. But that was, what year was that when you came here to visit?
2012.
And I was working at the Hard Rock Hotel.
Yep, you're working at Hard Rock.
So, Orlando is home of Universal, Disney. So it's a good place if you have a part-time job here, or just if you're in customer service or any kind of food service, there's a huge opportunity here to kind of move and just kind of make money while you're going to school or whatever, which is what I was doing. I was a concierge at the Hard Rock. Mm-hmm. And you came, you checked it out. You were here for like a week, something?
Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks or a week. I can't really remember, but you had me you were about to start going to Rollins. You were thinking about going there.
Right, yeah, and I just did a tour.
Yeah, and we were like blown away at how beautiful that campus was.
I think it won it wins awards like every year. It gets on a list every year for like
amazing.
The most beautiful campus.
And then right down the street was Full Sail. So I went there and I was like, you know what, this is where I can use my benefits to the maximum. I could potentially get more than 1 degree out of this place with my benefits. So I was like, got to do this. This makes the most sense. I didn't really want to go to a school for musicians. I wanted to learn some additional things.
Well, because you're a musician, but you're also you have a mind for technical stuff.
Yeah, I'm definitely more science and music,
Yeah, you've had a passion for science as I've known you. And then even when you were just playing music, you were recording yourself on GarageBand and things like that, and just kind of figuring things out for yourself. And then, Full Sail was the natural next step.
The next step, did recording arts there, graduated that in 2015, and then went straight on to Entertainment Business Masters, finished that in a year, and then I tried my hands at the film program there, the Film Masters. I was in that for 5 months, and then decided to drop out because it was just, I was exhausted at that point.
It was a lot of school. You were doing accelerated programs. So, because the way the GI Bill works is by week, right? Is it weeks or is it semesters? It's weeks. Or days.
Days, yeah.
Days,
individual
right?
days.
Yeah, holy shit. So really, the accelerated programs, you were incentivized to do that because you could get more education because it wasn't about running out of money, it was about running out of time.
Yeah, running was limited to 36 months, and best you can use those 36 months. So I was just trying to cram in as much as I could, but I still had a great time in the film program, learned a lot with the film students and the teachers, and still got to work on some student films and try my hand at some Foley and some sound design and scoring. So it still was like a great fun time. But at the same time, I saw this place and saw like the possibilities that this place could become. And so that was kind of more my journey, was putting more energy into the music side of things and get the studio up and running to become its own entity.
When did you first come to this? You were at Full Sail when you found the studio here?
Yeah, I think I first walked into this place in early 2016.
And this was just a rehearsal space before?
Yeah, it was just
right?
a private rehearsal space.
Private rehearsal space. It was kind of like a hobby kind of a thing, really, right? People do like donations and stuff like that, I think, right? And there was a pretty cool, you tapped into a really cool community here.
Yeah, there's a
lot of great music in Orlando that I don't think people know about.
So much great music here. I mean, it's incredible how many different styles of artists and genres and things that are happening. And I think it's because, Orlando is like an entertainment mecca, you know? So
sure,
you get a lot of recurring jobs with these theme parks and with International Drive and all the international community that is drawn here. Plus there's a lot of corporate stuff too. So, I mean, I get, salsa bands, Latin bands, punk rock. There's definitely an emo pop punk scene here. There's some older, cover rock bands. There's a lot of hip hop. So some
classic
pop
albums.
artists.
I remember the classic album's been here for a while, right?
Classic albums is like phenomenal world class cover.
Yeah, they play
program.
like the Hard Rock Live, don't they? Yeah,
Sold out.
And they tour. They sell out. It's the scene here really. I mean, even just going around town with you to different venues you played at. I think first we were going to like open mics, and then we were kind of falling into, who was actually hosting events and having lineups. And now our friend list in Orlando is got to be like 75% musicians.
Yeah.
Right. The people that we actually hang out with.
Yeah. And then another thing that we started doing, the studio, we started hosting a songwriter night back in August of 2019. So we've been doing it for, what's that, like 5, going on our 6th month now, maybe a little longer. Maybe I'm getting my dates wrong. Yeah. It's half a year or so, and consistently every second Wednesday of the month, we're just having anybody that wants to come through the door that RSVPs on our Facebook group, Castle Door Studios Songwriter Night.
Yeah, it's free,
and it's a free 2-hour session where we just get to meet up as musicians and then show a project that's not totally complete or at a certain stage, and then we can just solicit like free feedback through that. Sometimes we'll help construct a new chord progression or give some lyrical advice. So it's just like a really great platform to break that whole writer's block process.
Anyone from any level too.
Yeah, any skill level. You went to one of them and you had a lot of fun.
And I had a blast. And I'm more of a hobbyist when it comes to music. I wouldn't call myself a professional anyways, but I've been playing music really since 2009, I guess, when you kind of got the bug, or you gave me the bug to, I really like songwriting, not so much the performing. I never really gravitated towards, I'm not a natural singer either, but when I came to Songwriter Night and, everyone's they want to help each other just create,
the idea
music.
is to be like a support group and not be like this competitive space. It's this group to support musicians and to get help from people that have 10, 15 years, maybe more of experience performing in the real world and writing. So it's a really fun program, and we hope to continue doing it.
Yeah, definitely. Some of those people too, it's the higher class. They get some higher class musicians in there as well that are professional, that do make their living, as you do as well, working around town probably even outside of Orlando,
Yeah.
doing all sorts of, weddings or, venue gigs, whatever. One of the big ones is Orlando Brewing.
Yeah. A lot of breweries are a fun place to perform at. There's usually a live music artist at some kind of brewery on a Friday night or weekend,
Yeah.
So those are all great opportunities for all of us to continue pursuing our passions and being able to pay the bills in the process.
Yeah, I think a lot of people in Orlando should really look at the music scene here to go out recreationally. For us, even we don't even go to bars ever. We're at breweries now mostly.
Yeah,
right.
Pretty much.
Mainly, it seems like when we go out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really need to go to a bar if I'm already at breweries for work all the time.
I mean, you're already when you're at a bar or brewery, it's because you're working.
Give me a second. I'm going to turn on the AC real quick. It's pretty
go
hot in
ahead.
here. You can talk to the...
Yeah, I'll talk to him. I'll let him know a little bit more about Castledore. Castledore Studios is located, like I said, in Winter Park, right off of I-4 and Fairbanks. And it's a prime spot to record, rehearse, do a podcast. This isn't the first podcast you had here, right?
Yeah, that's right. We got reached out by somebody. It was 99% Invisible. It's a pretty decent sized podcast located out on the West Coast in California, and they wanted to interview somebody over here in Winter Park, and so they reached out to me to record his half of the conversation so they could put together a really high quality podcast. So
it was across. Where were they at?
They were out in California.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you get the technical stuff down.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Seems like some logistics. Hey, what time is it?
Oh, yeah. What time? It's 5:26.
Cool. So, because this is the OrangeLando show, I wanted to get oranges.
Yeah.
It's a kind of the theme, right?
Exactly.
But I accidentally bought tangerines.
Tangerines are delicious.
Tangerines are great.
They're still orange in color.
What's kind of funny, though, is they're from California.
Why is it so hard to just get an orange in Florida?
Well, how come if you buy citrus in Florida, it's from California? What the hell is up? What's up with that?
I don't know.
There's still a lot of groves around here, but there used to be a lot more. Actually, the part of town we live in, I found out used to be mainly orange groves.
Really? What part of town?
By Michigan and Cimarron.
Oh, okay. Like
Back
the
there.
Soto area?
Kind of towards like Conway, or was it Conway in Michigan? Yeah, no, it's like East Orlando, north of the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's still a lot like in Kissimmee and stuff, and there's a big wholesale place that sells oranges, and they sell some of the best oranges I've ever had.
Yeah.
And is it 192?
Yeah.
All the tourist stuff, all the
I like the
Disney
I like
property
the
stuff.
Vero Beach orange juice. It's a Vero.
Oh yeah, Indian River.
Right?
Anything Indian River.
Indian. That's what it is.
River.
Indian
Yeah.
River. Yeah, that stuff's good, but it's
my
still
stomping
like
grounds.
more expensive than any of the oranges you're going to get from California.
Yeah, it is.
Even though it's right down the street.
Because they squeeze it with their hands. No, I don't know. But it is delicious. I can't do cheap orange juice. It's gotta be pulpy and it's gotta be fresh. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll get someone who owns an orange grove on here.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be really cool.
Get more knowledge on what's going on in that scene.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the
About the orange
agricultural
grove scene.
the orange grove scene. Yeah, I'm not really up to date in that part of agriculture in Florida.
I know. I mean, Florida's got quite a few things going on. Oranges is kind of the traditional thing, like it's our state fruit or whatever. I don't know what our flower is. I wonder if our flower is the white orange flower thing.
You should probably know more about your state, huh?
Yeah, I'll figure it out probably in this podcast over time.
In this podcast.
But yeah, maybe I should. But we also make strawberries in South Florida. Sugarcane, big sugar, which is a problem sometimes, but
Big sugar.
big sugar. They had a big problem with the Everglades, and it actually affected Indian River, which is my home county. I was born in Vero Beach, grew up in Sebastian, Florida, so it's like, I don't know the best way to describe it. It's on the Atlantic side of Florida. It's not on the Gulf side. It's on the Atlantic side. It's a real famous inlet near Cocoa Beach. But anyways, it's got a really delicate ecosystem. These brackish water estuaries, the salt freshwater mix. In that estuary, you'll find sea life, plant and animals that don't exist anywhere else on the planet. You'll find in that same pool of water, you'll find sharks, you'll find alligators, maybe giant pythons now too, because they're out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of diverse creatures out there. I like the sandbars out there too. Those are fun.
Yeah, we went and hung out at the sandbar. We made a music video there.
We made a music video last year.
For
the summer.
Yeah, it was a summer song.
Just a plug on our music.
Yeah. Yeah, just go check out our YouTube channel. There's 2 videos up right now.
Yeah, Leaky Roof Productions.
Yep. Leaky Roof. That's interesting. Kind of going back to how you started in Orlando. Because we became roommates, and then you were going to school with, obviously a bunch of people that want to be engineers, and that's where we met Billy. And Billy is our other business partner in an LLC that we work under called Leaky Roof Productions, and that name actually comes from the house that we lived in. Literally, the roof that we lived under.
It was inspired by that roof. So we used to throw a lot of shows and stuff, like house shows in that house, and little like acoustic sets and just all sorts of fun things. But unfortunately, it did have a leaky roof, and it was like getting pretty bad.
It was pretty bad.
If you neglect wet surfaces in Florida, a lot of awful things happen to them. So very moldy.
We had a terrible landlord and just wouldn't take care of anything.
Wouldn't take care of it.
Property manager, rather.
We were in that leaky roof, but we made friendships and made a lot of creative projects there. So I think that was why we wanted to keep on running with that.
Yeah, that
model, Leaky Roof Productions.
We recorded a bunch of stuff there. Like a lot of the first things that we did outside the military, really when we were starting to get a little bit more serious and had the know-how, was in that house. And it really hasn't stopped since we left that house. No one lives in that house anymore, I don't think, at all. I think it's like condemned. But, Billy, he's in Miami now, and all 3 of us still collaborate, through the internet. Billy comes up here, whatever. And we've done videos and songs together still. And Leaky Roof Productions is hopefully going to get some more videos. But those music videos are fun. The one we did on the sandbar, and then the Love Bug one.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 big ones last year.
Love bugs. Killing love bugs.
Killing love bugs. The Orlando Sentinel published a story about it.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting.
That was exciting. Kind of got a little acknowledgement from the local community.
It was cool.
Yeah. I guess both those videos too they're kind of they kind of romanticize Florida a bit, like
Yeah,
right.
I would say so. I mean, you have like a zoom up shot of sun.
The Sunshine State.
Yes,
Sunshine State.
It's kind of a tongue twister, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah. Too much alliteration going on with the S's.
Florida really put that on there on you.
They're like, welcome to the Sunshine State.
Yeah,
we get our oranges from California.
There's definitely some nods to it, right?
Yeah, and I mean, if you live in Florida, you know what love bugs are.
Yeah.
And that music video we did was, like you said, it's called Killing Love Bugs. And it's not necessarily that you go out to kill them on purpose, but they're everywhere. And you're driving your car around, you're riding your skateboard around, whatever.
Kind of killed them by existing.
And the funny part was, that we were killing them while they were mating, right? Because
so morbid, right?
There's a line what is it, the line?
I don't remember.
I don't know, but yeah, it's about love bugs mating and then us just splattering them with our cars. Because for the listeners that don't know, love bugs, there's 2 seasons, but the main one is like early summer, like late spring, early summer. And they're just these bugs that just take over, like huge swarms.
So many of them.
And they cover the front of people's cars.
Probably billions. Probably in the billions.
Maybe even more. Yeah, like hundreds of billions, right? Like it's crazy.
It's an absurd amount of love bugs.
It's absurd, yeah.
Yeah.
But they only live for like 24 or 48 hours or something like that, and the whole time they're mating. Right. They're just trying to they're just getting it on.
That's how there's so many of them.
And then they die, and they lay a bunch of eggs before they die.
Yeah.
Right.
It's constantly making love.
Yeah. And then we're just splattering them on our cars driving down the road.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, I hate them. I hate them. But yeah, there was some irony in the song. Killing love bugs. Killing love. Wow.
Not a lot of people do.
What?
Well, enjoy them.
No. They're hard to enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're easy to catch though, because they're busy, getting it on.
Yeah.
They're having sex. You can grab them out of the air. That's fun.
So what else? What else is I think people don't really know that Orlando is more than just a theme parks if you're not from here, right?
Yeah. So I see this all the time because I bartend on the weekends, as you know, at Universal, and so the 2 sometimes 3 days that I'm there, I'm just meeting people from all over the country, out of country. Orlando is the #1 tourist destination spot on the planet because of Disney. And it's also supported by Universal largely. A lot of people who come here with their kids, they go to Disney when the kids are young, and then they like it and they want to come back, but they try Universal because Universal's, it's more appropriate for like once your kids kind of get to teenagers and stuff.
That's true.
The roller coasters and stuff are a little bit more intense too.
Yeah.
And so you get people that come back here, especially from Europe, Australia, parts of Asia for sure. Definitely in South America. We get a lot of people from South America this time of year because it's their summer. But they think that Orlando is Disney and Universal, and that's it.
That's it.
But that's just a small sliver, and it's not Orlando culture at all. It's where we go to work, and then we dip out,
Yeah.
Go there, make my money, and then I leave. I don't hang out over there. Actually, sometimes we forget that there's all that stuff over there, and we just kind of take it for granted.
It kind of feels like a whole different part of it feels like a different city. When I go over there, I'm like, there's this part of the town,
right? Yeah.
Because I can just be like totally absorbed in the Mills 50 or Thornton Park or Winter Park or what else?
College
Park. Now Lake Nona now is becoming like a new whole city in itself.
Right,
that's beautiful.
Nona's
and
growing, yeah.
All very futuristic. They got automated vehicles out there.
Do they?
Self-driving. Yeah, they got a self-driving.
What do you mean, like automated? Like no one drives them?
There's a self-driving bus that takes people from like a little neighborhood area.
What?
And then just like drives on the road like on a.
Like it's not on a rail.
Not on a rail at all.
It's on wheels.
It's on wheels.
And there's no driver.
No driver. There's like an attendant that just kind of
observes.
That just sits there.
Whatever for safety.
Yeah, and it's really slow. It's like only going like at 10 miles an hour.
Whoa.
But it like totally drives itself, and will just drop people off like right down there at the square. So you don't have to like walk all the way from. It's like probably, I would say maybe like a half mile, maybe a little more.
I didn't know that.
they're doing.
I still thought there was too many regulations and things, stopping autonomous.
I was told that I was told by a business owner out there that the city of Lake Nona or whatever the incorporation like got a grant to test this thing out. Yeah, so they got like a ton of money, to trial and error this self-driving.
So this is a city vehicle?
Yeah, it's a self-driving bus that's free. You just get on it and get on. Yeah, you just get on it and then ride it. I haven't ridden in it yet, but I've definitely seen it on the road like a lot.
That's cool because obviously you hear about like a lot of private industry, Tesla, right? You hear like they're doing that, but I would never even guess that there would already be something that's city government related at all.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know enough about it to know like how far it's crossing between like the government versus private. But I know that it's just a public transportation system,
but it's for the public,
and it's not too big. It's not like the size of like an actual. I would say it's like a van, kind of like in that size.
Cool.
Probably could fit like maybe 10 people on it, 10 or 12 people.
So Lake Nona.
Yeah, Lake Nona, dude. Lake Nona, a lot of things are happening at that town. I mean, it is just like all the medical industry is expanding down there. They got two big. They have the new VA down there. That's gorgeous.
I remember I saw because I go to the one over by us, Lake Baldwin, and I saw the model there.
Oh, you've never actually been to Lake Nona?
I haven't been to it, but I saw the scaled model.
Yeah. No, that thing is incredible.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's nice, and then they have Nemours. I think it's called Nemours, and that's a children's hospital. So there's a lot of medical professionals that live down there.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's just a very new, forward-thinking town. I know that there's like apartments that are going there where you can get like a shared Tesla. You can just share a Tesla to get around.
Really?
Like if you become a leaser of the apartment.
Yeah,
like they have
it just comes with a Tesla. You can just hop in and go to work.
Hop in and drive around.
What? Yeah. Lake Nona, city of the future. I'm gonna have to go I'm going to go up there. And
You really need to check it out.
Next time, maybe I'll. No, I'm not going to register at the VA there. It's too far. But
well, you don't. I'm still registered to the Baldwin one. They just outsource like, they outsource doctors like to like Nona. So
if you have to go there for whatever,
yeah,
you can do it. Cool.
Like I think they even do probably dental over there too or something. They do a lot of things.
Interesting. I wish that we were covered with dental. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
It's hard to complain because like we're set.
Yeah.
The American people really hook up their vets.
Mm-hmm.
A new thing that just passed is we can go to any emergency room and not have to worry about coverage.
That is an amazing thing to have.
Yeah. Because before it was like, oh, I got to get, if you break your leg, it's like, take me to a VA hospital,
Right.
But now it doesn't matter what hospital you go to.
I've only had to go to
coverage.
the emergency room one time since I've been out. I've been out since 2013. And it was one time when I was heading up to Atlanta, Georgia with Billy. And I had like this terrible like side cramp. I don't even know. It was something like in my stomach and it was really sharp and painful. I don't even remember like what they ended up what the diagnostics was or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just remember being in like in a immeasurable, like a really, really insufferable pain. And so we were really concerned. So I just went to the VA ER in Atlanta and they just accepted me without any questions. I think I ended up having to pay like maybe $25 or $50 or something for the visit a few months later. But that's a lot. That's not bad compared to, how bad an ER visit can be without insurance. So
there's a lot of
yeah.
I mean, the other one is what's I forget what the law is. Whatever the Obama one, you have to have insurance. Otherwise, you got to pay a penalty.
Yeah, Obamacare.
Yeah, it is Obamacare. Right?
Yeah,
it falls under that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But but the VA thing saves us. So we're covered. So yeah, it's hard to complain about. Oh, I wish I had dental.
Yeah. Right.
It's like I can afford my dental insurance.
Exactly.
I'm not forced to pay, medical insurance.
Right. But we definitely have an insurance problem in the nation that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, it seems like it because since I became like aware of politics at all, which even now it's like I try to be aware of it. It's super confusing.
Yeah. No. The health issues are very complex and convoluted. It's definitely a complex problem to be solving.
Yeah. The insurance conversation's been going on. Forever. Just figure it out. Somebody figure it out. Yeah, I don't know. Who do you like for? Who do you like for? You're a Democrat.
Yes. Well, I'm a little more independent, but I register as a Democrat.
You're right. Yeah, that's fair. Sure. We were talking about Andrew Yang.
Yeah, I'm really liking Yang's policies a lot.
He's someone who seems to not get the spotlight. We kind of think maybe
I've always been a Bernie supporter too, though.
Right.
So I really do like a lot of Bernie Sanders positions. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're both in the same boat where it's like we're just trying to get information and make the best decisions we can. And the Democratic Party especially is like everyone seems to be like Yang is nothing like the rest of the party.
Yang's talking about a lot of the problems that are happening in the economy with automation that no other candidate is addressing. And I think humans don't even know how to really tackle automation. Like it's such a new thing that we've had to worry about. I mean, it's kind of similar to when the Industrial Revolution happened, when our jobs started to change and we had to start, undergoing some major changes, like when the car was invented and suddenly like there wasn't jobs to maintain horses or something, like those type of things. Those are major changes.
One. Electricity was a big one.
Yeah,
there's a lot of labor force, lighting street lamps and things like that. I think he was saying in an interview. And electricity kind of, once that was installed, you had the electricity was doing a lot of labor that other people used to have to do.
But the problem with automation is it's a lot more invisible. It's an invisible force that's taking up our jobs. We don't really see it. It's not like just like a clear like you're losing your job today because this computer's taking over.
I wonder if there was a bus driver in Lake Nona that lost their job.
There you go. There probably could be someone.
Know, but
yeah. I mean, what happened to all the people that were manning elevators back in the day?
Right? What's up with that? It's like those. It's like I don't know. That seemed like that was some weird shit because like there was no. I don't know what that was all about.
You had to just press that lever.
To me, that's like the same as like having a bathroom attendant.
Were you a part of that conversation?
What? No.
Okay. So me and my girlfriend Alyssa, we went to a comedy show like 2 weekends ago, I think. And I went to the restroom, and sure enough, there's a bathroom attendant.
Okay.
And
where were you at?
this was at Hard Rock Live.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
And they have a bathroom attendant.
It's a nice venue.
Yeah, it's a beautiful venue. I love that place. But so then I'm like, oh crap, like, you know, and I'm just like, I just go try to like not make eye contact and just avoid, you know, because I just don't even want his service. I don't want his service.
Because you have to tip him.
I mean, like, you don't have to, but then you feel bad if you don't.
No, but he's like standing there.
Yeah.
And so like,
right. But so
he's trying to hand you stuff, right?
Yeah. So he's cleaning like one side of the counter, and I'm like on the other side. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just going to like get out of there real quick.
Right.
And they're like masters at like the moment you turn around, your moment that you're like, I almost wanted to just not wash my hands. Like I almost wanted to just like walk out, but then I'm like, well, now I'm being gross, you know, like I need to wash my hands. And they just like immediately make eye contact and then turn on a faucet for you and like throw a bunch of paper towels at you. So then it's just like, I thought about it for a while, and I was like, you know, I feel guilty for not tipping. And then if I do tip, I'm annoyed that I had to tip.
Well,
because it's a service I don't need.
Exactly. So I bartend, right?
Mm-hmm.
People tip me. I live off of tips, but people come up to me to get a drink. You know, like you don't have a choice. If you have to go to the bathroom, you have to go to the bathroom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like you can wash your own hands.
Yeah.
But you can't pour your own drink at a bar.
Yeah.
At least not yet. You know, I'll probably get taken over by a machine one day.
I mean, I posted on Facebook, and some people told me that it was like a way, like a form of security or a way to prevent people from doing drugs. But I'm like, dude, like how
Hard
much
Rock's not that nice.
Yeah.
And it's not that. It's in City Walk. Like, there's no one over there, you know, snorting rails off the toilet.
Exactly.
In City Walk.
The place that you're going to be snorting like is like a bar that doesn't have an attendant. So it's like that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah.
And even if you did, that attendant probably would participate. So
right, if it was like that kind of bar.
Yeah.
If it was the kind of bar that needed an attendant, it's like that attendant's probably got the coke.
Yeah, he's probably dealing the coke. Oh my gosh. But yeah, still,
yeah.
I really think it's an ancient thing that needs to go. It's just like a service that we don't need anymore, and it's putting me in this awkward position where, again, if I want to wash my hands, I don't want to be gross. I don't want it to force me to be gross.
Sure.
And I mean, even if I wanted to, I can't. Like, they're so good at like grabbing.
Did he try to like spark up some small talk?
No, they're usually just really quick and just trying to be like.
Right.
They're not like in your.
Okay.
I mean, if anything, I'm sure they don't want to be in a bathroom too. It's probably not a great.
It's not the
most
first
glamorous
job on
job.
list. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not like trying to be mean to bathroom attendants, but I just don't want them in my bathrooms personally.
Right.
I can perfectly
it.
wash my hands without any help. It's just not. It's not a luxury.
Next time
at all.
Next time, really throw them for a loop and go in there and wash your hands first, and then just walk out.
That's a good idea.
You know, and do your business and walk out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, you can't
it's not
even
their fault. You know.
Well, you can't even say I don't want your service. So it kind of feels like it. What I was saying is that it kind of feels like somebody washing your windshields without your
like at like a
consent,
at like a stoplight or something.
Just like someone's just washing your windshield.
And they put their hand for $1. And it's
like, because they're already doing it before even asking you if they want if you want it.
Do you give money to people when they ask for it on the street?
I try to if I have
sometimes,
like some money on me. I mean, I don't really carry cash on me too often.
Right.
But there's times where I'm feeling like, if I have like a Starbucks card or something, usually try to give those to people.
I don't.
Yeah.
And I'll give people food. Usually I have like granola bars or something.
That's a good idea.
You know, or if they're really hungry and I don't have anything, I've purchased like a sandwich or something.
Yeah, I usually like to buy them food more than anything if I can, because giving them money doesn't seem like a good.
Not only that, but
idea.
I don't believe half of them, honestly.
Do you think they have homes?
I think they're making more money than I am. You know, doing whatever. I think they probably have cars, or they have a nice place to stay, or you know what? I think honestly, a lot of them are just making enough money to keep up whatever bad habits they have going on, or. And at the end of it, I guess I don't judge. I just don't know.
You just don't know.
And my money, my welfare isn't really gonna. If you're hungry, I'll feed you.
Yeah.
But I just don't. I was also in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
for a
Los
few
Angeles
years,
can
and
be pretty overwhelming.
I just got asked so many times every day to where I just started saying, I don't give people money. You know, I will totally give you a granola bar or buy you like something to eat if you're really hungry. A lot of times people though would be like, no.
They would actually turn down your
Yeah, they'll
offer
turn
to
it down.
food?
Yeah.
Yeah, that can be pretty disappointing.
So that kind of was like, okay.
That's a pretty clear clue right there that you're
Right.
not as desperate as you actually are.
No, exactly.
You're just begging.
But
Begging for drugs.
actually, my brother told me a story about my brother's a firefighter, and I don't remember the details of the story, but basically, they a homeless person had
Sorry about that.
had like a really nice car and all this stuff kind of hidden away, or he had like a setup, you know. He was definitely working people over.
Right.
And I remember hearing that and being like, that's just, it sucks for the people out there that are really homeless
Right.
because, you know, a lot more people would probably be apt about actually helping them if they didn't have to think in the back of their head like, oh, I'm just getting conned.
Right.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I also I do still like the sympathy part of me kicks in because then I'm like, well, what really makes it a big difference? Like, how far am I from having like just the wrong list of bad luck or the wrong set of circumstances that could put me in that position? I mean, it's probably unlikely, but I still like there's a part of empathy that puts in that I'm like, you're still a human being that deserves, you know, to be happy and to have basic necessities. And I guess it's always just kind of disappointing to me when we're like in the richest country in the world and there's still people that don't have like their basic necessities taken care of. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, there's a big argument about you know why that is. I think compassion. You know, I don't know if it solves all the problems, but it's definitely something I feel for people. And I think it's one of the reasons we like Yang too. When we're going back to because he's got the whole UBI, the universal basic income, where it doesn't matter if you're poor or rich, you get this money to support yourself. How much is it?
$1,000 a month, I think.
$1,000 a month
was what he's shooting for. Yeah.
At first, I didn't like it. I was like, okay, it's just
sounds like a give out, right?
Sounds like a give out. And the more I really consider where he's coming from, it's not about government intervening in your life and controlling you like welfare programs do. Like they say, you know, or even disability programs, any of those kinds of government programs that offer you money. Because right now, all those programs say, here's the money, but here's the limitations. You know, if you're on welfare, once you start making more money, you're not getting the welfare check anymore. A lot of people get stuck in a hole. What's the disability thing? People are scared about getting employed because they're going to be identified as able-bodied.
Yeah.
And they're going to lose their disability, so they're not going to take risks and try to get a job. I mean, there's people that need it, of course, but it would be nice if there was a job they could do,
like under just no stipulations whatsoever,
and no stipulations, to where they don't have to like, you know, jump around the government.
Now, remind me, what is his? We don't have to get like deep into the politics, but what was his like plan on how he's going to fund all of it? Like fund this dividend? Because I mean, that's like probably like the biggest question.
That's the biggest question. Yeah. So I think a large part of it was, one, we're already dishing out so much money, and those people that we are dishing out to aren't going to get more money.
Yeah.
So if you're already on welfare, if you're already getting these checks, like this, you're not going to get another $1,000, but you're going to get up to $1,000, you know, total. And so it's all tax money. So I don't know. I don't think he has a particular plan. I might be wrong about raising taxes on anybody.
Yeah.
But definitely just...
I think he was talking about an automation tax.
An automation tax.
Is that
That's what it was.
It's like if you start automating, like you're
right.
gonna have to pay. Like these companies are gonna have to pay a tax.
Right.
But it sounded like it came from a few places. But again, I don't quote me. I don't remember.
That makes sense because his whole thing was automation's taking labor, and so you know if and he's a capitalist, which is really what I like him, because he's thinking about how private industry and competition is great for the economy, creating jobs, and how the government can mess things up. They don't really create things, but they can redistribute money, you know, and most of the time they get that wrong. And so it makes sense that if you own a company that is making a bunch of money off of automation, not creating any jobs, that there would be an additional tax
Right.
You know, that makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not a genius, but you know, people require more skill and more education today than they did before. The labor force is going away.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want a job, you need to be able to go to school or you're not even school, but be able to take an internship, go, a trade school, whatever, you know, just learn a craft. And this UBI allows you to do whatever you want with the money without any stipulation. So if you want to go to school on it with it, you can. If you want to, you know, just not make too much money and just be, you know, a $0 paid intern,
Yeah.
you can support yourself and do that while you're learning the skills.
Right. Yeah, 12,000 a year is not enough to really live off without a job. So it's not something that's going to just like make people lazy, you know, and just like do nothing, because it's just really not enough really to live off without a job, at least if you're trying to have a family and stuff. But it is just enough to, you know, get the bare necessities to keep you from that point of homelessness, which is, I think, great.
I wonder,
good thing.
I wonder how homelessness would be affected by UBI.
Yeah.
Because then if you see people on the streets and you know they're getting $1,000,
you know you're gonna,
you know what I mean?
What's that? Yeah,
like what's up
that's
with that?
That's gonna be an interesting conversation. You know, like,
that really, because then it's like,
right? Because the next time someone like goes like, "You got any money?" and I'm gonna be like,
"No, bitch, you got
$1,000 this month."
Yeah,
and then they'd be like, "No, I didn't." I'd be like, "Yeah, you did. I know you did because you're an
did.
American and whatever." I don't know.
Right, you get that the freedom dividend.
The freedom dividend.
Yeah, I don't know.
That would be an interesting thing on what would it do? Like, how would it positively impact?
Well, it's crazy because now, I mean, we're both not experts on this, but obviously there's money going into programs that are supposed to be lifting these people out of poverty.
Yeah.
Something's happening where it's not working, right? And what's the excuse when every individual has money to support themselves?
Yeah, to at least buy the food that they need to eat.
Because, you know, and I almost said this when you were talking about like you're being very empathetic, and you were saying, how far am I from that position?
Yeah.
And the first thing I thought is like, even if you lost everything financially, right, you have the education and skill set to bring yourself up, and you've done it before. You have the know-how, you have the interpersonal skills. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing tangible that can keep you from staying on your own.
Right, but I mean, it's still just like I wouldn't want to be in that position, and they probably don't want to be in that position.
Right.
And I don't know how they got to that position.
Sure.
You know, mental health, drug abuse, who knows?
Yeah. Sure.
But they're just another human, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like we shouldn't be in a position where we're
No, but all I was saying is, you know, that would never happen to you, and I can understand why. You know, you could be empathetic for somebody who is in a very different situation, but if they're getting $1,000 a month, like that would incentivize programs and things for them to, if they or whatever it is, because they have money to spend on themselves now. So if you need mental health help, there's probably a private industry that can survive off of homeless people.
Yeah, but I mean, and I guess I'm not saying like I would just be homeless tomorrow or whatever, but I think another thing is the set of circumstances that I've had through my life. I can attribute a lot of it to, you know, me making the right decisions at the right times, and you know, being persistent about, you know, wanting to have a future or wanting to think about my future and think about my careers and stuff. But all those things were afforded to me because I had the privilege to afford those things. You know, like I just happened to be born in that right position in the right time and have like the right support groups around me. So I think some of these people just don't have that. You know, some of these people never were given any of those opportunities, so they weren't set up with the right education to realize what they needed to do to avoid getting to that position. Or, I don't know. Yeah.
So you think if people, maybe not so much about solving the problems today with people that are on the streets and they're already at that, I don't know if you call it point of no return or whatever, right? Because you can only do so much for a person.
Right.
And then some people are just in shitty situations where they can't do anything for themselves either. It's kind of like a lose-lose. But I wonder if they would have grew up with the UBI system, what other opportunities would have been afforded to them.
Right. Or would it be worse because then people would be less sympathetic when you did totally screw up with your money?
Well, then what's great though is like if you did, it's on you. I mean, if you have a mental health issue or something like that, you're born with, like, if you're pathological and you can't make decisions or whatever, you know what I mean? That's a small percent. But like, if you're on the streets and you've been getting that paycheck every month since you were 18, it's kind of it's definitely, I don't know, the opportunities are out there and available to you, I think, more so than ever. Would say there's still people that can be more privileged than others for sure. But I'm just kind of trying to play out in my head what this UBI would be like for people to, that wouldn't be on the streets today if they would have had it.
Yeah.
I wonder what percent. I bet you it's a large percent.
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing that, Yang would say about like what it does is it helps people on those margins, right on the margins, people that are right on the edge of poverty or about to lose their job due to automation or something like that, So it's at a different additional assistance.
What would you do with it?
What would I do with it?
What would you do with $1,000 a month, free and clear?
Pay off debts, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but pay off debts. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. That's the most like logical thing. But like, what would you
reinvest into my businesses?
You would focus on the studio.
Yeah.
Probably, right, and music.
Yeah, reinvest in businesses. Maybe donate some of it. That's another thing is a lot of people that have the money can donate.
If you're
there.
making like $100,000 a year, like what do you need the extra grand for?
Yeah, they can just like donate it. That can be a whole new thing that probably will happen where people will just
charities and stuff
be in the trend of donating that extra $1,000 because they don't need it.
Interesting. Yeah, I do want to know a little bit more about where this money is going to come from.
Right.
I know I've heard his response on that before, and I was like, I can deal with that. I think I'm pretty sure it was my reaction, but I can't think.
But again, for the audience, we
don't know what we're talking about.
We do not consider ourselves political experts at all.
Do your own research, not on this first episode.
So I don't know why.
Right.
We're just like the average Joe people that don't know crap about politics.
Right.
So that's our perspective.
And now a few words about our sponsor. Castledor Studios is a music production house located in Orlando, Florida, and it's where I choose to record episodes of the OrangeLando Show. The studio features a blend of vintage and modern equipment and can accommodate musical artists of any genre, voiceover recordings, and, of course, podcasts. They can help with anything audio related. Castledor Studios offers free tours. Come check out their amazing facility for free. There's nothing to lose. They also offer free open house events like their monthly songwriter night where artists share and critique each other's work. It's free, people. Every session you book with Castledor Studios will be professional, private, and inspiring. If you have a creative idea, take action now and contact Castledor Studios at castledorstudios.com. Use reference code OrangeLando to receive a 10% discount on your first booking. All right, back to the show. And we're at that age too, like we're like at our early 30s where it's like we got to do our best to, how informed can you be, and actually focus on the rest of your life at the same time.
Right.
Do the best you can.
I mean, like it's just a 24-hour nonstop, news cycle that it's just impossible to keep up with all of it.
Impossible. It's just noise.
Yeah. It's just, if you try to stay plugged in nonstop, you're never going to like have time to do your own thing. So
yeah, you got to really cherry pick where you get information from. I think podcasts, not ours at the moment, but like, for instance, like if, this is going to focus on Orlando, but like if you were going to vote in Orlando, it would be great to hear some of the candidates in a long form conversation, right? Instead of just snippets on CNN or local news or, even like I probably the smaller stuff, but like debates and even like there's debates that CNN hosts or whatever, for the presidential candidates.
I think the political debates are totally pointless.
They're just like it's just
so pointless. You get no content out of them
No,
whatsoever.
just it's like a dog and pony show or
Yeah.
something.
It's
But
an outdated system.
yeah,
I don't know why we continue to do that because we don't get real answers at all through them.
I hope I can get some people that are smarter than me, like that just are actually just smart. That'll be smarter than me. You know, I don't know what I'm talking about on a lot of things on this show because I think it would be very interesting. Like, I want to know who's responsible for I-4. You know, I want to hear what they have to say.
I-4 Ultimate, right?
Right? I don't know. I mean, I say responsible, but I want to know more about like what's going on in the city that's affecting the community.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're running for office or you're dealing with infrastructure issues, like I would love those people to actually be able to speak their mind.
Yeah, and we complain about the roads because they legitimately influence our lives in ways that aren't fun.
And there's who's defending them?
Yeah. Right. And it's just this hassle to have to deal with,
Right.
But one thing I was just always thinking was just when I'm down by like the 408 I-4 section intersection and how like all those new massive like intersections are being built where they like the big bridges that they're doing, and I'm like, gosh, like that is some incredible engineering.
It is.
Like something that's just designed to like handle 40-ton truck or something that's going like 200 feet in the air. It is incredible that we as human beings are even building that. And it's not like a beautiful structure, but it's beautiful in its like science of how it's able to handle such a massive load of weight and keep traffic going. So, I mean, we all want it to get it done quicker, but it is also just like really impressive, like the civil engineering that has to go into that. Like the amount of civil engineering in a roadway is a big undertaking. But I think they have probably messed up some logistics in the process because it is certainly taking a long time.
It's been a while, right?
Yeah.
Definitely since you moved here, for sure.
I think, well, I don't know when they broke ground on
maybe not necessarily that
rebuilding it.
that one part of I-4, but just like that whole stretch from like, I don't know, just what's the northest part of Orlando that I-4? What was that I-4 eyesore?
It's like up in Altamont.
Altamont? Mm-hmm. I feel like anywhere from like Altamont to like Universal, there's always been like something going on in that stretch. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
It just never stops.
Just never stops.
Yeah.
But I guess the city's probably growing, and
that's what it is. It's a growing city. Mm-hmm. And I guess they're planning on putting a toll road in the center of I-4, is what I understand.
An express lane.
That what you're going to be paying for that.
You can opt in to pay for it and take it. If you jump on it, it'll charge you. They have those all over California. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, and it goes up depending on, I think, how many people are using it or time of day or something like that. But I took one time. This is in California, Los Angeles, and I want to say for a stretch of like 3 miles, it cost me like $15. Mm-hmm. But it was bumper to bumper, like gridlock next to it, and then that was wide open.
That's awesome.
So I was like, okay, I guess I am. Yeah, and back to privilege.
Yeah.
Not everyone can afford to do that. I mean, if it's your daily commute, you definitely can't. You know, so that wasn't my daily commute. I just happened to be driving up from that part of town.
Yeah, and 408 rarely has traffic on it. I mean, there's some times of the day that it has traffic, but for the most part, 408 is pretty open. And that's because it's a toll road, get there a little quicker. I wish we had other better forms of transportation here. There's no way we could ever do like a boring company here because we can't go underground.
You'll hit water.
We'll just hit a bunch of aquifers, I was just listening to another podcast on maglifts.
What's that?
The maglev train. So
magnets.
Maglev trains, yeah. So they use
like levitation.
Yeah,
like
there's a few different types of technologies that Germany. I mostly was hearing them quote from Germany and Japan. Those are the two countries that are really into maglevs.
Yeah.
I don't think America has one yet.
Are they underground?
No, they're surface trains, but some of them can go like the record I think is like over 350 miles per hour.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and they can get this fast because
on the surface, like imagine that just flying by you.
Yeah, it's insane.
Wow,
that's fast, right? I don't think I think not all of them are going that speed. Most of them are going in like the one.
Probably not inner city, right?
They're like 150 to 200 miles per hour, which is
Okay.
still
That's
insanely quick. They're taking like 1 hour commutes down to 7 minutes.
whoa.
Yeah. But it's because there's no friction, it's like entirely a
Right.
train floating
Just
on
floating.
magnets.
That's wild.
Yeah. Now there was one where they're using electromagnetics, so they're able
What's
to.
the difference?
Well, the electromagnets aren't permanent magnets, so when you run electricity through them, they become magnets.
Got you.
They create that magnetic field.
So it's just like a piece of metal or something.
Yeah, it's a type of metal that when you run electricity through them, then they activate
It generates
and become
a magnetic field.
Yeah, generate a magnetic field,
Okay.
and then create that repulsion or attraction when they want. So
And you said that's what they are using?
yeah, some of them are using that style of technology where you have, like, say you want a magnet in front of the train, change its polarity to an attractive polarity. So now it's going to attract the train, and then the magnet that it's sitting on is now reversing its polarity. So now it's a repulsive.
See, this is why we should stick to talking about science with you instead of politics. Because you know what the fuck you're talking about.
Well, it's definitely something I find fascinating. But so you have a magnet that's pulling a train forward, the front one pulling it, and then the other one pushing it. And then it's constantly changing. The computer's regulating what electricity is being put into each magnet. So one in front of it's pulling it, the other one's pushing it, pulling. And so then now you just have this levitating train that's just floating over the air. And so you're literally your only resistance at this point is
the air.
Yeah. And then if you build it well enough, the biggest hurdle with all these maglevs is they're absurdly expensive, like $50 million.
The power?
No, to build.
Oh.
So they're like in the realms of like $50 million per mile.
I wonder how much I-4 costs.
Per mile of like
compared to that.
I-4. Last I read was like 7 billion, like in that realm, and it was supposed to be like 3. So they're getting pretty high. But I mean, we're talking 50 million per mile.
Per mile.
Per mile. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So you're well into the billions when you're trying to actually make some distance on that.
Right.
And it might be even higher than that in some scenarios. The other type, the maglev that I really find fascinating though, are the I'm gonna forget because I just was watching another video on this. They use a superconductor, which
What's a superconductor?
A superconductor is a type of material that needs to be. It conducts electricity perfectly. Like there's no resistance to electricity through it.
Okay, so like some conductors, they do have a resistance?
Yeah, like even copper and gold, they all have forms of resistance. But superconductors have like there's no resistance. Like resistance is brought down to 0.
Wow.
And they have to be very cold. So that's the only thing, is that you have to lower their temperatures with like liquid nitrogen, keep them down to like the 300 degrees.
Oh, they heat up.
Minus 300 Fahrenheit.
Okay, yeah.
And when you get them into that state, when you put them into a magnetic field, what happens is the magnetic field wraps around them. It like encompasses them, right? Jeez. And so now you can hold them in any position. Like it doesn't even like normally a magnet would repulse or attract, but doesn't it? When you're repulsing, you're not staying in the same place. This is like a magnetic field wraps around the whole object and then locks it in place.
Oh,
so you can actually like tilt it, and then it would hold its tilt.
So like it'll just float there.
It'll float and hold its tilt.
That's so
and
cool.
Whatever, and you can raise the distance of it and everything. So
that's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing science right there. But so they don't have to. They're a lot less energy consumption because they don't have to constantly put electricity. They just have to keep their superconductors really cold.
Oh, okay.
But there's no need to put a lot of electricity through those devices.
In terms of using them, they're
like,
cheaper.
They could lose power and it'd still levitate, still function.
Damn.
So, but maglevs are definitely like the most advanced they're like the most likely form of transportation in the future when it comes to little resistance in transportation.
Man, the world is going to look so different in 10 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like one thing.
Yeah, it's one thing. The Hyperloop is the other one where it's like that put inside a vacuum chamber.
What would all these... Oh, okay, yeah, that's like the Boring Company, right?
Yeah,
that's
supposed to approach like almost sound breaking.
Like speeds. Air isn't even a friction at that.
So at that point, you can go 600 to 1,000 miles per hour.
That's cool.
Things.
Yeah, and I remember this is what I do know about the Boring Company and that technology is because one of the first things people say that are like me and don't know what the hell is going on
Mm-hmm.
is like there's no air in there. Like what happens if you crash, you're gonna suffocate. You
Oh.
know, but
If you crash, you're not going to suffocate. You're going to just die immediately.
you're gonna die
you're
immediately.
going so fast.
But there was yeah, but there was a good thing why it's never going to like come to that, and how the actual because what would actually have to happen is something with the tube would have to change, like there'd have to be like something in the way of the tube to make the train crash. But the tube actually can adjust, like it bends.
Yeah, it's
It's like they call it like a snake, kind of like it can, like it's made with layers,
yeah,
so it can like move. It's like a hole in the ground that can move, right?
right.
Am I explaining that right?
Yeah, and it's
tunnel.
yeah, and it's below the ground, so earthquakes aren't going to affect it.
You don't get affected by earthquakes underground.
Yo, that was like the biggest concern that I thought of was the moment like we're like drilling in California. I'm like, isn't that going to totally
Sure.
immediately be thrown like to waste when an earthquake happens? But what happens is most of the vibration of an earthquake happens on the surface. It's like being underwater in the middle of a hurricane. You know, like when you're in an ocean in a hurricane like 20 feet under, you don't even sense the hurricane.
Right.
So it doesn't even affect any of the tunnels at a certain depth. You can have a huge earthquake and it won't happen at all.
Damn.
Yep.
They really thought this out.
Well, another way to push like electric cars is that you can't take a gas guzzling car in these tunnels because now you're contaminating the air.
Because of the carbon monoxide.
Yeah.
Right, and that'll kill you.
Yeah, so now we're just only allowing an electric vehicle into these things.
And they're supposed to be like, the idea too is like layers, right? So it's not just one tunnel, but there could be like layers of tunnels.
You can apparently go deeper than you can build tall.
Right.
So you can go deeper in the ground in tunnels.
So more than we could ever make layers above us.
So the I-4 thing is still not really solving a problem because we're still doing a 2D transportation on a 3D grid, or 3D working space.
I don't know if they could ever build tunnels here though.
Not here.
Right.
No.
It would essentially be an underwater
We just need
tunnel.
a ton of maglevs.
Yeah.
A ton of maglevs or flying cars, which probably won't happen.
Yeah, there's a bunch of safety issues there. And half people can't drive on that flat road.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be a disaster, probably. Huh.
I test drove an electric car last week.
Oh, yeah, you went to Tesla.
It was really fun.
Which one did you drive?
The Model 3 Performance.
The Model 3 is the sports car,
Yep.
right?
It's a top tier Model 3.
Is that the one they called the Roadster?
No, the Roadster's the Roadster.
They're two different things.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they are two different. Okay.
Yeah. So they
the
built
Model 3.
Yeah.
So go ahead. No.
The Roadster was built like in the late 2000s off the Lotus Elise. So the Lotus Elise was the frame that they built it off of.
That was like the first like performance car they ever made.
Yeah, that was the first car Tesla built, and those were like $250,000. So they're really, really expensive for a small niche of people that could afford them. But that built the funds for them to build the Model S sedan, which destroyed pretty much everybody in its competition.
Any combustion engine car like gets destroyed by it, right?
And it's just like a great sedan.
And it's just a 4-door like.
It's also the fastest production car. It's the fastest production car in existence right now.
Get out.
Yeah, the Model S Performance.
I wonder if they'll let it in NASCAR. How cool would that be?
Well, NASCAR, it probably can't compete with NASCAR.
It's still.
It'd be cool. It would beat them on a 0 to 60
right, because they do like 500 laps.
Yeah.
They'd probably run out of power.
It definitely, I don't think it would run how many laps it could run
I have no
in
idea.
that space, but it would beat them on just like a drag race. So in a drag race setting, the Tesla Model S is still the fastest production car in existence.
Which is the one you drove?
No, that one's 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds. The one I drove was 0 to 60 in 3.2.
Okay.
So about a second slower.
Wait, so what's the difference between the model numbers? You said the 3 and the what?
The 3 is the car that is supposed to be the affordable one. That's the latest car that they started releasing back in 2018.
Right, the 3 is like the sedan.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a sedan, but it's a compact sedan. It's smaller than the Model S.
Gotcha.
So the sedan's a luxury sedan.
Oh.
This one's like your transportation, like everyday, kind of like, I mean, right now it's competing with like the M3, the BMW M3, Audi A4 kind of
Okay.
like
Yeah,
class
sure.
of vehicle, but
Yeah.
eventually they want to get it down to being like something that could compete with like a
Honda Civic.
like a Honda Civic or a Corolla. You know,
Right.
like if we can
Okay.
get into those categories.
Yeah, because that's a big market.
It's
right?
in that
For
footprint.
yeah.
It's in the footprint of like a Corolla. It's about that size. But this thing is so fast, man. I mean, I just driving this thing at 3.0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. I was at an intersection down at Sand Lake, kind of near like the dock. Where's Sand Lake? I guess that's like in
Sand
South.
Lake, that's
It's near like the touristy area
it's
of
right
town.
by Universal.
Yeah, touristy area of town. And I was at this 4-way stop, and I just wanted to see how this thing felt. You know, taking off, just instantaneous torque. There's no band.
You just gunned it?
I just gunned that thing like at sport mode. And I was at 65 miles per hour before the cars in my lane had crossed that intersection. You
Oh
know,
my god,
it's just,
that's crazy.
you
mean,
can feel it in your eyeballs. It feels like a roller coaster. It feels like a rail gun.
We've both had sports motorcycles, like crotch rockets,
Yeah.
and those are fast. Those are quick, right?
Yeah.
But how's it compare? Like we both had 600 cc. I had a
I think
Suzuki. I think you had. What'd you have?
the
a
hard
Honda?
thing, I had
CBR?
an R6,
Or you had a Yamaha.
Yamaha R6, yeah.
Yeah, so you had an R6. I had a Gixxer.
Yeah. But the thing with the
600,
bike
and they're-
is like, I mean, to be able to do those type of speeds, you like, it's hard to not wheelie. You know?
Right. Yeah. So I know but I mean,
It's hard to not like throw
how does
yourself.
like the actual speed feel compared to that? Like, is it
It's totally different because with an electric car,
it's the quickest thing I've ever felt? So I'm trying to compare it.
I think the best way to compare it is if you rode the Hulk.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Like when it shoots you out of the tube.
Feels like that.
The Hulk. He's talking about the roller coaster.
Yeah. Feels like a roller coaster.
yeah.
That's the best way to describe it because a roller coaster is like it's catapulted electronically.
Okay. Right.
So it's
Yeah,
and it's
that's a
probably
good
not
way
the
to-
exact same technology.
So
I've
just-
never looked into how the Hulk.
So the way
works.
the Hulk, I don't know the mechanics of it,
Yeah.
but for people who've never ridden it, the Hulk at Islands of Adventure in Universal, instead of most roller coasters take you up, like you get that clicking, that tick 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 tick, and it takes you to the top, and then you drop. But the Hulk, you start from the bottom, and it just shoots you up this ramp.
Yeah.
Like there's no like gradual climb. It just
No, you're just instantly
slings you.
spinning
It's
up.
like the Hulk throws you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the idea is that it's throwing
Right.
you. But that sensation that you get where it's just like
Zero, and then
it's zero, and then there's no resistance to your acceleration.
right.
That's the same way
Like
that
no
these
engine resistance.
yeah, there's no lag to your
Lag,
acceleration.
right.
It's just like the moment you step on that accelerator,
Oh my god.
the torque is touching the tires, and the tires are all speaking to each other because it's a 4-wheel drive vehicle with 2 motors on each. There's a motor to each front and back axle. So there's a dedicated motor to the front wheels and another dedicated motor to back wheels. You're getting 580 horsepower, just an enormous amount of torque just directly to that wheel, and there's no moving parts in between. So
Are there charging stations in Orlando?
yeah, there's superchargers here.
Really? I've seen them driving around.
Yeah.
I'm wondering. I'm just assuming one year I'm going to see like a vast amount more of them.
Don't think there's any superchargers in downtown in the city yet, but there are a lot of electric chargers still like popping up down there. Speaking of which, the Lime e-scooters just started appearing this month.
Oh
I think.
yeah, yep. So Orlando's got they're using an app, right? Use an app and you just get on an electric scooter and drop it
Yeah.
off. You can drop it off anywhere.
Yeah, you just drop
You
off.
just
Anywhere.
leave it wherever you go.
Yeah, wherever you go,
That's crazy.
you just ride on the sidewalks
That's so
and then
cool.
you're just done.
Do you know how fast those things go?
The really beefed up ones can go like 40, but these ones probably only go like 20 or 25.
So what are they called? Lime?
Lime is the company that just got approved to be, working here in Orlando.
The license.
Yeah,
Are they the same ones that do the bicycles?
yeah,
Same. Okay.
yeah. Because
same
we've had those bicycles here for a
Okay.
while now.
Yeah, I haven't. People I know. I think you told me about the bicycle. You did the bicycles before, didn't you?
No, I just did
No?
the scooters when I was in Colorado.
Okay.
In Denver, they had a ton
okay.
of different companies up there.
Was Lime up there too?
Yeah, there was Lime, there was
Wow.
Bird, there was an orange one called, I forget.
How much do these
There was Lyft,
services cost?
even
or-
Lyft.
Or the rent?
Lyft had their own scooters.
Oh, cool.
They were
makes sense.
they were always different. Since I was only up there for like a few days, I just kept on downloading the apps and getting like $5 or $10 like to start the app. And so I didn't really pay a whole lot, but they do have like a $1 charge just to start them up. and then it usually ends up being like 10 to 15 cents, 5 cents, between 5 to 15 cents per mile or per minute. I think what it is per minute. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's $1 to start up, and then 5 to 15 cents per minute that you're riding it.
Wow.
But I also heard that certain people, like maybe veterans or something, are going to be able to waive that startup fee, the $1 startup fee.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, so you can get on
the
that
bennies.
thing. Yeah,
It's like, I don't know, man. My dad, he was a Vietnam vet, and he got shit on for being a vet. You know, like you came back from Vietnam, everyone called you a baby killer and shit. You know, like
spit on you and stuff.
All the vets, were just like, you know, getting, I don't know, just they weren't living a happy life after, you know, especially Vietnam. And now, you know, it's just like, I think you get like a gold star card.
Yeah, I think like, it's definitely
it's nice.
A good change of our society on how we look upon the people that are doing things for our country. So
yeah, I mean,
thank you, vets.
Yeah, thank you, vets. Thank you for everyone who pays their taxes. So the lime, man.
Yeah, you got to try it. It's probably like, it's somewhere around 20 miles per hour, which is pretty quick when you're only like a few inches off the ground. You know? But they're fun little scooters. They don't look that cool.
Right, they're green, right? They're like lime green.
Well, you just don't look really that cool on a Razor like scooter.
They the small they're like small wheels, like the Razor scooters.
I just think you look cooler on like on a board or something, like a longboard, electric longboards.
Those look cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, those look cool.
And they're very practical. They're so practical here in Florida because we don't have hills. Just have all this flat land.
Yeah. Right. You know, it's easy to get around on those things because they don't have to go uphill.
I just wish Orlando wasn't so spread out because I would love to use those to get around.
It is, yeah. Orlando is fucking spread out. It's, I mean, like Lake Nona. That's about. Would you consider that Orlando?
Yeah, it's still Orlando.
Still Orlando.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, it's accessible by 417. 417 is Orlando.
Okay, true.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, from there to like Disney. Oh, Disney's Kissimmee, but there to like even Universal, it's far.
Yeah, all the way up to, and then Sanford. Sanford's considered part of Orlando. Right.
It's pretty spread out.
It is pretty spread out. Speaking of Sanford, I drove an electric bike up in Sanford.
Oh yeah,
that thing's pretty quick too.
You just go play with all the toys.
Yeah, I just want us to switch to electric, man. Electric's where it's at.
Right, you ready? Yeah, I know, because I mean, you always know like the gadgets you want before they come out. Like you're ready for them. Like you got the Apple Watch, you knew you wanted to have that. You waited, and you're patient, and you got the one you wanted when it was a good time to get
Free
it.
through T-Mobile.
Free through T-Mobile. Yeah, they were doing that. T-Mobile hooked you up.
T-Mobile hooked me up.
They hooked me up. I guess we're going to shout out T-Mobile, but they hooked me up with a pretty cool discount with my phone.
Yeah.
I got the new iPhone 11 Pro. And they gave me $500 off for my trade-in. I was like, deal, $10 a month after that.
T-Mobile was awesome. I was with it. I was with AT&T for 15 years, and T-Mobile won me over.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was AT&T, dude. Like, I don't know. I don't want to shit on a company, but fuck AT&T. You know, I was having some problems.
Too big.
I was having some problems like with their customer service and just getting.
They don't care about you.
Yeah. So I was just.
At this point, the only thing that these big cell phone companies are doing is just trying to win each other's customers over.
Yeah, they're just trying to trade
because the market's already saturated. Like everybody has a cell
everyone's
phone.
got a phone. Everyone's there. So
it's just like they just have to win you. They just have to be a better service in the next one. And so
T-Mobile had the best veterans discount.
Yeah. We're just gonna keep on talking about all the veteran discounts, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
Google Fi. I want to know more about that. Google Fi is probably a pretty cool thing.
Oh yeah, that's Google's phone service.
Something about like you paying for the service that you use rather than being like a flat rate, you know? Because like all these other cell phone companies are like, you're gonna pay this amount regardless. Whereas Google Fi is like, oh, you only used 4 gigs, you're gonna pay for 4 gigs this month, and then next month, you know, your bill could be higher or lower. So it's always adjusting, based off your usage.
That makes sense because I use a lot of data compared to like my mom, right? Like I probably use like 5-6 times more data than she does. I think it'd be nice if she didn't have to.
Yeah, but AT&T doesn't give you that option. You're paying the same.
Yeah.
Even if you're on a plan, you're paying the same. Or T-Mobile, Unlimited data.
Yeah.
Beat that.
Unlimited's where it's at.
Yeah, unlimited.
I like that. Never have to even worry about it. Man, so what do you say to people? We'll probably wrap up soon.
Yeah.
In Orlando, I think you should really just name a couple places to go and check out live music.
Oh,
Back to that.
places to check out live music.
Like where if you wanted to just like no cover charge, like just go hear some local music, grab a good drink, have a good time.
Ooh,
What's
I
the
don't
spots.
I don't know about a no cover charge place. I mean,
Okay,
I
well,
usually go to
you
places
know what I
that are
mean.
paying the artist. So
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, where?
so-
Go ahead.
in the $5 through $15 range.
Yeah. Something reasonable.
Will's Pub is a big one. It's a big happening
Okay.
place.
That's
on
downtown.
Mills 50. Yeah.
Mills 50. Mills 50. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Will's
That's not-
Pub is a big
close to
one.
downtown.
The Haven is another big venue, a local venue spot.
What's the Haven? Where's that at?
The Haven is kind of up in this area of town,
Oh.
like near Winter Park, College Park area. And then we got Orlando Brewing. That's actually a free one.
Yeah,
Orlando
brewing is a free one.
free
I've
original music
Been to that one
every weekend.
several times. Yeah, and yeah, what is it? Every what?
Every weekend.
It's every weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
Every
only like
Friday and Saturday.
once or twice a month. So it's called what's it called? Brews and Tunes.
Brews and Tunes is every third Friday of the month.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah.
Okay, so but that's just when they have like a lineup of what's the difference?
Well, I mean, there's always going to be like live music down there every weekend, but then I host the Brews and Tunes event. That's every third Friday of the month. Me and Anthony Rojona host that. And so we try to just like recruit a lot of the local Orlando musicians here to give them a
Gotcha.
spotlight, give them the opportunity to flex their music
That's
and show
all
their
original
stuff.
music. Yeah.
100%
There's
original.
covers. Yeah. I like that one.
Yeah, it's a fun one. Back booth. Well, sorry, it's not back booth anymore.
What's it?
It's been Soundbar for a long time, but I still keep on calling it back booth.
That's
Soundbar.
downtown.
That's downtown on Pine Street. That's another fun one. The Social. It's a great venue right around the corner. Right next to the Social is the Beecham. It's a bigger venue.
Oh, right.
Slightly bigger venue. Probably going to fit in like the 300 person range, maybe
Okay.
more. And then the bigger venues, Orlando House of Blues at Disney and Hard Rock Live at Universal Studios. We got Plaza Live. That's also down by like Bumby. So those are kind of like your bigger venues, I would say.
Okay.
And then our biggest one is the Amway.
Right, Amway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw
Sorry.
I saw the Chili Peppers there.
Did you? I've never been in there yet.
For show at all? Or-
No. And we have those Magic tickets, so we got to go see
Oh
it.
yeah, you get Magic tickets.
Yeah. So that's where it's
do that.
Magic's home base.
Heck yeah.
Home court.
I'm all about
Is that what they say in basketball? Home base or home court?
It's definitely at home field, right? Yeah, probably at home court.
Home court.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we should definitely go see it. I saw a Magic game. I saw Magic and Heat there.
Cool.
And that was Jack Nicholson was there. It was cool.
Nice.
He was sitting straight. I mean, he was in a box like way across.
Yeah.
And I could barely make out his sunglasses, but I
Right.
just saw a guy wearing sunglasses. I was like, "Yo, that's Jack Nicholson." That was cool.
Cool.
But yeah, right on, man. So, and if people are interested in, if they're local musicians, they need to come check out Songwriter Night here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Songwriter night.
What's the
Every-
I'll put up a link and stuff.
Yeah, put up that stuff.
Yeah.
It's every second Wednesday of the month from 6:30 to 9:30 ish.
Second Wednesday. So
Yeah.
next Wednesday. Right?
We start at 7 and at 9, but we like to just kind of have like little networking bubble between the beginning and end, so we can
It's a
just
great way to meet other artists.
introduce people.
Yeah, just network. Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks, Zach. This is the first episode of the OrangeLando Show, and you are a big part of setting it up. It's gonna be recorded here regularly. That's the plan, once a week.
Cool.
Out of Castledore Studios. You're gonna be a major part of it because you're my engineer.
Yeah. Right now, I'm just letting the automators,
Yeah,
the
you're
automation machines do
wearing
my
many
job.
hats today. So yeah, man, I appreciate it. And yeah, guys, feel free to just message Zach about anything music related in Orlando. He's got the know-how and the ins and outs of it all. And thank you for listening to the first episode of OrangeLando Show. And this is new for me, so if you have any tips, anything, you can make jokes, you can be critical. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. Let me know what I should do, who I should interview. If if you or you know anyone in Orlando that is a person of interest, we'll call it. Yeah, tag them, hit me up, slide into my DMs. But until next time, thank you guys.
Peace.